If the Holy Family only consisted of Jesus, his mother Mary, and her husband, and Jesus' foster father Joseph, and if only once he was disobedient to them in this incident recorded by St. Luke, and thus tested his adolescent wings, asserting his autonomy and causing them a lot of pain and anxiety, then they are a family not only atypical of our own day and age, but of his own as well. The life of Jewish people in first century Palestine was life lived in extended families among clans. And while popular piety does not draw much attention to that truth, certainly history and even recent archaeology do. Indeed, in the records of a court case found from the 2nd century, is revealed that relatives of Jesus still held title to a portion of the tract of land once owned by Joseph with his brother Clopas. And so we can be rather sure that Jesus grew up at least in close proximity to other relatives, and Uncle Clopas and his wife Miriam and their children. But it may even be more likely that Jesus grew up as the youngest child in a family of 7, with 4 older stepbrothers and 2 older stepsisters, as we can find specifically named in the Gospel of St. Mark. The people of the Holy Land have a long tradition that they were the children of a widow Joseph before he married Mary, and thus perhaps why in art Joseph was always depicted as older. And before the social services of first century Israel are called to accuse Joseph and Mary of negligence in letting their 12-year-old get lost in the city of Jerusalem during a big feast, we hear that they assumed he was among the members of an extended family with whom they were traveling from Nazareth to Jerusalem and back because of the Passover feast. This was customary. You had a village. You lived among those to whom you were connected, many by blood or marriage, and everybody raised everyone's children. The point is that it would be easy to be holy if you're just a family of 3, set apart from others, living in peaceful isolation and serenity. But if in reality you are part of a modestly sized family, living in proximity to a large extended family, and in a village where you are part of a clan, all would frequent the same wells and the same marketplaces and the synagogue, and there would be opportunity for sufficient aggravations, disputes, and feuds. So that this family was known, and rightly so, as a holy one, has to be testimony that their patience and kindness were tested, but they were found true. Their forgiveness and mercy were certainly required at times among themselves and with their neighbors, but they weren't found lacking. Their generosity and compassion had to be proven whenever they were called upon to help that clan, because they were ready to offer what they could, most likely their labor, if not their goods, to assure that others with whom they lived in that village of Nazareth had what they needed. So after their example, let us live as St. John reminds us that we are all called to live, as the Holy Family lived, as the children of God, who are created in God's loving image and likeness, thus being those who bear with one another patiently, and above all, love one another truly by forgiving one another freely, and thus merit to live as the Holy Family did here, so that we may, as our opening prayer reminds us, live in hope of living with them forever hereafter.